Why comics? It's a question I've asked myself a lot lately. At the time of recording this video, I'm in my junior year of college. It's 2:30 in the morning, and I have to decide what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And I don't know. I just don't know. It's a big decision, and I'm not good at big decisions. But if you know one thing about me, I love comics. I think I always will. The comic fan in me has been reading comics since I was 7, and he knows just how much it means to me to one day write comics of my own. But the doubter in me, on the other hand, thinks it's not just that comics are a goal for me, they're an ideal, an unsustainable one. The doubter tells me that I must dedicate myself, that I must do, act, and be more every day, because I'm clearly nowhere near enough as it is now. There's people more talented, more willing, and more deserving than you. That's what the doubter tells me. I thought about this as I stood in line at last year's Orlando MegaCon comic convention. Now, upon breaking into the convention's exhibit hall, my friends wasted no time executing our plan. We split off in search of anime and video games and all our other fictional desires. That left me with my obsession: comics. A backpack packed to the brim with massive, heavy omnis and a wallet of cold, hard cash dictated my destination, Artist Alley. There sat a lineup of comic writers and artists near and dear to my heart, just screaming to autograph the source of my eminent back pain. Now, as I walked around the convention, both the comic fan, the comic doubter, and me signed a momentary truce. Life's always been a series of admission prices, and I expected this convention to be no different. But it was. People talked, sometimes for hours on end, with nothing to make but a connection. You're doing a new series for Daredevil, right? The man in front of me, and artist Alex Malif's line asked, engaged in a conversation I could tell was already a good half hour deep. No, a cover series, he replied, shaking his head. I'm doing a cover series, he repeated. Would you like to see? And now he showed us the piece, and as expected, it was magnificent. It was that same Daredevil from the pages of my Omni, whose red end sheets Mr. Malif was soon signing. Next on the list was Venom writer Donny Cates, who, as I learned from other fans on the line, was making one of his first convention appearances back after he lost his memory in a car crash. As a comic fan prepared to supercharge himself with passion and tell the man how cool he thought all this was, a scholar was fixated on the kid in front of me. It was easy to see he was nervous. "It's an honor to meet you, sir," stuck out instantly. "Your comics really mean a lot to me," the kid told Mr. Cates. "Oh, thank you," Cates said, flashing a smile to the kid. "I really love that class you did, the one with Scott Snyder, on craft and character. You know, on his Substack you said, 'It's not hard, it's just work.' I'll never forget that, sir. I printed those words out and hung them above my writing desk, and it makes me believe that someday I can do what you do. I want to write comics too." "Wow," Mr. Cates said, initiating a handshake with the kid. "Hey, I'm glad I could help." I was next up. Like a robot, I plopped my hardcover Venom comic down on his table and wasted no time showering him with praise, which he readily accepted. Before I'd even asked him if he'd be able to personalize it, I saw he'd scribble a little Venom head in the book's red end sheets along with the signature. And as I walked off, happy but confused, the comic fan and me wondered why our meeting had felt so off. But the doubter knew why. That should be you. That kid is exactly who you would be right now, if you weren't wasting your time. Surface level, that's all you are. All you'll ever be like him. That's what he told me. That's what I thought. As I walked the con, trying to find the last man on my list, I started to wonder if the doubter had been right all along. Shouldn't I be working every day to be a better writer, to achieve my dream, just like that kid was? Have I been wasting my time all along? All these years I read and relaxed and reread. And as I wandered, I started to wonder if being a fan was all I had left. What if shallow fun and narrow interests had butchered any chance to make this anything more than a passion? That is when I found Jerry Conway, the 73-year-old comic book legend who had inspired me throughout all my childhood. Oddly enough, he sat at his booth completely alone, filming his assistant to keep him company. Now, as I went up to the man and asked him to personalize my last omnibus, a collection of his first run on Amazing Spider-Man from the early 70s, I realized I was more nervous now than I had been all convention. It's great to meet you, Mr. Conway. I basically lived off your runs on Spectacular and Web of Spider-Man when I was growing up. I tried to flip open the hardcover comics to its end sheets, but I accidentally turned to an image of one of his most iconic stories, where Spider-Man's girlfriend, Gwen Stacy, was tragically murdered. Now, I was all too aware that Mr. Conway ought to remember this one. After all, he was about my age when he wrote it, still in college, just starting out. I heard the doubter laughing at me somewhere, and I hated myself for it. Do you want me to sign here? He asked. Yeah, that'd be great, I said. Really, though, thank you for those Web and Spectacular issues. I remember in elementary school running to the long boxes in the back of my local comic book store and rifling through them as fast as I could. I'd go straight for the ones you wrote. They were always the best. Mr. Conway thought for a minute before he tipped his hat, got dead serious, and said, "You know what I've been reading lately? Chainsaw Man." Chainsaw Man? Yeah. Also, Sakamoto Days. It's a lot of fun. You know of it? I said, absolutely, sir. Just like that, the doubter had disappeared and the fan had been activated. Suddenly, me and 73-year-old industry legend manga enthusiast Jerry Conway were boys. I told him there was a Chainsaw Man movie being made, to which he lit up. It felt really weird to be talking about a series of that nature to a man that prolific and of such advanced age. But as we talked, expressing our shared love for two great comics, I realized that just like Sakamoto Days and Chainsaw Man, two series that most elderly gentlemen wouldn't be caught dead reading, his comics were also full of gang wars and ridiculous mobsters and all kinds of bizarre fanfare. When it came to his characters, Mr. Conway had a type. Tombstone and the Lobo Brothers and Hammerhead and all the rest were mobsters through and through. That's what I loved about those early stories. You could so clearly see that Mr. Conway was writing the types of stories he loved to read. And because of that, they were fun. That's the most important thing, Mr. Conway told me, in response to my proclamation of also wanting to be a comic book writer someday. We talked for what must have been a good 15 minutes, and as we talked, I began to express my concerns to Mr. Conway. I think it might be too late for me, Mr. Conway. I mean, I'm not like you. I want to be, but I'm not. Well, don't force it. Huh? I said. For a second, I thought it was all over. I thought prolific 73-year-old industry legend Jerry Conway was telling me to give up. You've got all the time in the world, he said. Man, a sigh so deep it burst into a laugh erupted from within me. Here was this 73-year-old man in a black cap and a button-down sitting in front of me. And he was still a fan. Suddenly, the world made complete sense to me. I realized that everything Mr. Conway had written all his life, he'd written because he was having fun. And he did this without being shallow or robbing his writing of discourse found in the holy grounds of non-fiction stories. I mean, in his Spider-Man comics alone, he'd taken the time to explore topics close to his heart, like illegal immigration and eating disorders. Maybe the doubter doesn't know what he's talking about after all, I thought. Maybe he's just not me. As I took a picture with Mr. Conway and we parted ways, I could feel something special. I felt energized. I felt inspired. And I felt good. Now, does this answer my question? Not really. I mean, I still don't know what I'm going to do with my life, or even if loving comics means anything, if it matters in the grand scheme of the world, but at least now I can answer the question that got you to click on this video. So, why comics? They're magic, pure and simple. They're words and pictures, the purest form of storytelling. They're everything you put into them, all the effort, right there on the page. Most of all, they're fun. And now that I know all of this, I can finally give the doubter his answer. Why comics? Why not?